Good day, welcome to class. Today we'll be looking at Module 6 and the topic is water quality, feeding and fish growth management. The content will be focusing on importance of water quality, feeding management and feed formulation, and lastly, growth monitoring and record keeping. We have critical water quality parameters. The three key parameters must be constantly monitored and managed, and it includes the pH. The pH talks about the acid or the alkaline nature of the water, and the ideal range is 6.5 to 8.5 for most fresh fish water. The importance of pH is it affects the health of the fish, toxicity of ammonia, and growth. Another parameter is the temperature. The ideal range for catfish is 25 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius, and for tilapia is 26 to 30 degrees Celsius. The importance is it controls for metabolism. Temperature determines feeding rate of the fish. It also determines the oxygen levels. So another parameter is the dissolved oxygen. The ideal range is greater than 5 mg per liter, milligram per liter for healthy growth. The importance of this it is essential for respiration, it is essential for growth, and it helps to prevent toxic gas buildup. What are the water quality management that we need to practice? We have the monitoring tools, and the tools include pH meter or test kits. Also, there's need for thermometer. There is also need for dissolved oxygen meter / kit. In the management tips, for a low pH, you can add agricultural lime, that is CaCO3. You can add it for a low pH. If there is a high temperature, you can provide shade and maintain water depth of about 1 to 1.5 meter to reduce the temperature. For low dissolved oxygen, maybe less than 5 milligram per liter, you need to install aerator into the pond. You need to avoid overfeeding and manage the stock density, that is the number of fish per unit area. So these parameters are interconnected, and they you need to manage them as a system all together at the same time. We move to fish nutrition and fish feeding, the feed types. Essential nutrients in fish feed include protein, which is the most critical, carbohydrates, fat, vitamins, and minerals. The types of fish feed, we have the natural feed, and there is also formulated feed. Natural feed are feeds which the farmers doesn't formulate. They are like example of planktons, algae, and organisms that naturally grows in the pond. Another form of feed is the formulated feed. That is, it is the farmer that combines ingredients together to form a feed for the fish. And it is used for commercial or farm made. It can be in form of powder, especially for fried younger fish, and it could be in pellets for juveniles and adults. It can also float or sink, depends on the density. Effective feeding management. Talking about feeding frequency for fry, there is need to feed for 4 to 5 times in a day. For fingerlings, there is need to feed 3 times in a day. For juvenile, there is need to feed 2 to 3 times a day. And for adults, they need to feed 1 to 2 times a day. That is, as the fish grows, the number of time for feeding reduces. Also for feeding rate, we feed based on the percentage of the body weight of the fish. For instance, 30% of 100 kilogram total fish weight is 3 kilogram of feed per day. And feed conversion ratio, if you want to convert, you need the formula, which is the feed given, the kg, the kilogram of feed given to the fish divided by the weight the fish gain in kilogram. So a lower feed conversion ratio indicates better efficiency and less waste. That means fish convert every food into weight, and that is acceptable. Move to the principle of good pond layout. A good layout ensures efficient water flow and easy management. And the key components are the water inlet. It's positioned at a higher elevation for gravity flow. Then the pond arrangement is another principle for good pond layout. It could be in series, water flows from one to the next, could be in parallel. Each pond has independent inlet and outlet. Then also drainage outlet. It should be at the lowest point for complete drainage. For dikes and embankments, compacted soil walls, plant grass to reduce erosion. For access road, there is need for easy feeding and monitoring and transport. Signs of good versus poor feeding. Fish eat actively. When fish eat actively, then it is a sign of proper feeding. Then also another sign is no leftover feed after 5 to 10 minutes. It is a sign of proper feeding. Also, uniform growth of the fish and clean water is a sign of proper feeding. Sign of overfeeding. On eating feed after feeding time. Cloudy or foul-smelling water. Increased disease and poor growth. These are signs of poor feeding. Monitoring fish growth. Why do we monitor the growth of fish? It is to assess the performance, to detect problems early, and adjust feeding management. The procedure for monitoring fish growth include: number 1, you sample 5 to 10% of fish randomly. You measure their length, and you get their weight. Another thing is you calculate their average weight. Also, you adjust feed quantity based on new total biomass, and you record all this data. The tools you need the weighing scale, you need the measuring board, you need sampling net, and you need a record sheet. The power of record keeping. Systematic documentation is key to professional farming, and the types of records to keep include stocking and harvest record, feeding and growth records, water quality and health records. Also, financial records. These include the income and the expenses used in the process, in the production, or in the business. The benefits of record keeping include it helps in better decision making. It helps to track profits and losses. It also helps to detect early disease. And lastly, it helps to access loans and grants. In conclusion, water quality is the foundation. You have to manage pH, temperature, and the soft oxygen daily. Feeding is also your biggest leveler. When you use quality feed, correct amount of feed, and proper schedules to control cost and water quality, you will have a good outcome for it. Then you have to monitor growth and keep details to make informed decision in your fish farming business. And lastly, you need to integrate management. You need integrated management. Success comes from balancing all the three pillars for steady growth, high survival, and maximum profitability. Thank you for listening.